It's the largest cosmetics company in the world, offering products ranging from makeup, skincare, hair care, and fragrance.
I'm Charlotte Reed, and on this episode of CNBC on Assignment, I've come to Clark, New Jersey, to this newly inaugurated Research and Innovation Center by beauty giant L'Oréal to find out all about the future of beauty.
Beginning in Paris in 1909 as a young French chemist, Eugène Schuller was driven by an ambition to revolutionize hair dye. Naming his formula L'Oréal, his product would form the basis of what is now the world's largest cosmetics company, L'Oréal. As the company grew, so did its popularity, with the scientist's products portfolio expanding to include shampoo, skincare, and makeup. 115 years later, L'Oréal has become the world's largest cosmetics company, generating annual revenue of more than $40 billion. From Maybelline to CeraVe, Garnier, Lancôme, and Aesop, the company boasts an extensive range of more than 35 brands in its skincare, hair care, makeup, and fragrance portfolio. The global beauty industry continues to show significant growth across all four categories, with the market expected to be worth $580 billion by 2027. Even in economic downturns, the beauty industry has remained more resilient than other sectors. This has been coined the lipstick effect, when consumers indulge in smaller luxuries such as makeup and skincare when times get tougher. This has made it a crowded and competitive market. Disruptors such as skincare brand The Ordinary and hair care brand Olaplex, as well as other investors and even celebrities, have been drawn in by the industry's allure, bringing fresh perspective and innovation. I sat down with the company's CEO, Nicolas Hieronymus, to find out what the company is doing to stay on top.
Beauty is an offer market, so I guess innovation is key to stay ahead in that race.
Well, you're right. People don't tell you that they need a new glossy lipstick or a new hair color that shines. They need to be stimulated. The demand needs to be stimulated by innovation. Every year our business is made, 10 to 15% of our business comes from new products, and you have constantly to surprise and delight the consumer. And that's what we are doing here, and that's the way to keep the market dynamic. The beauty market has been growing forever because people need beauty, but they have to be surprised. And we put on, right now we're launching a new hair care line on CeraVe, anti-dandruff line that's been developed in these very labs. And that's something that's going to bring something new to the market, and that's going to hopefully delight our consumers and contribute to the growth of the market and to its leader, L'Oréal.
But it's not just competition that is putting pressure on the company. Consumer demands are changing. Recent years have indicated a paradigm shift, with new sectors of the global industry driving growth. Meanwhile, the beauty sector has made significant strides towards greater diversity and inclusivity. Consumers now seek products that cater to their unique skin tones, textures, and concerns rather than one-size-fits-all solutions. Brands like Fenty Beauty, which introduce an extensive shade range, have set new standards, pushing the industry to embrace more inclusive offerings.
Personalization is definitely the future of beauty. But then again, personalization can take different forms. One way is to create a made-to-measure product for a given individual, which is probably going to be, I would say, the upper part of the market, the most premium part, and we already do it in some cases. But the real personalization is also what I would call the ideal curation, is giving you the most precise recommendation of existing products, but which combination will be perfectly matching your needs, your skin tone, or your hair type. But in the end, I think that every consumer will want a product routine that has been precisely recommended after the analysis of their needs and skin and hair condition.
To augment this move to a more personalized beauty experience, companies have invested heavily in beauty tech. In recent years, L'Oréal has been present at major tech events such as CES in Las Vegas and Vivatech in Paris.
We've decided, after having been the pioneers of digital and investing in startups like Multiface and virtual try-ons, we really decided to become the leaders in beauty tech. And why beauty tech? Is because we are convinced, and we are proving it every day, that the combination of technology and formulas is the best way to satisfy consumers. And it goes from creating tools that will allow to deliver beauty. We launched last year a new hair color device called Color Sonic that allow consumers to do their hair color at home in a very hassle-free, mess-free manner. It is through diagnosis, because in the, I would say, what I call the jungle of beauty products, there are so many products out there. Making sure that people get the right product for them is the best way to increase their satisfaction. That's why we presented last year at CES the Beauty Genius app, which is the first AI assistant that's in your pocket, going to advise you which product to choose, and therefore, based on your photographies that you take with your phones, a couple of questions. So that's helping consumers make the best choices. We're going one step further this year in terms of diagnosis with Cell Bioprint, which is a tool that allows you to measure your proteinic markers and therefore predict somehow the aging of your skin, and again, help us design or recommend to you the right product for this. And then the technology is also here in the research. We use a lot of AI to help our formulators create products, and this AI allows us, for example, to incredibly increase the speed at which we scan new molecules or ingredients.
To stay just on the tech, beauty tech, I read some analysts saying it's really exciting, but it might take longer for adoption for some consumers, and maybe some education, some investment from your part as well.
No, it's true. It's true. There are, when you are bringing a new device to the market, where, you know, hair color at home, frankly, hadn't changed for decades, almost a century. A box, a bottle, a bowl, and gloves, and, you know, it's not easy to do. So when you come up with a device that needs you to clip a cartridge, and then the machine does the job for you, yeah, it takes time for people to adopt it, and it will take investments. But look, today, I'm sure you have an espresso machine, and everybody does, and it's much more practical. So. I think that tomorrow, doing your hair color at home with, you know, your hands and gloves will probably be a thing of the past. But you're right, it will take time and investment, but we have the resources to do it.
You mentioned AI a little bit earlier. Can we just dig into this a little bit more? Because we're all trying to understand how it will change different industries. How much of an important tool could it be for the beauty industry?
I think it's going to be a massive contributor to both accelerating our development, to facilitating the lives of our employees, to boosting our creativity, and to back to the diagnosis part, to serving our consumers better. And today we are using AI in different use cases or different parts of our business. One which we mentioned is clearly research. We call our researchers augmented researchers, that they are augmented by AI. We have 10,000 terabytes of beauty data, and using AI, we can really accelerate the development of new formulas. Melazil, which is our anti-age spot molecule, was identified. Melazil was identified as and its capacity to work on age spots in 18 months, whereas probably before it would have taken 10 years. Today we have built digital twins of hair. And with these digital twins, we can test on digital hair new ingredients. In the past, we would test 10 ingredients per year. Now we do 150 every 6 months. So it's a fantastic accelerator. For our employees, it's clearly, from our L'Oréal GPT to our Createch content creation lab, it's a fantastic stimulator of creativity and facilitator of work. And as we said, for our consumers, our capacity to provide perfect recommendation based on algorithms that have been trained and keep on being trained is really useful to them.
Up next on CNBC On Assignment.
This facility allows us to integrate all our innovation from upstream to downstream, covering biology, chemistry, formulation, and formulation development.
Welcome back to CNBC on Assignment. I'm Charlotte Reed, and in this episode, I've come to L'Oréal's newly inaugurated Research and Innovation Center here in Clark, New Jersey.
After more than 4 years of work and $160 million investment, the company has fully renovated and extended a 250,000 square foot site. This facility is now L'Oréal's second largest research center globally, featuring specialized laboratories and unique mini factories to scale final formulations before full-scale production.
It's a pleasure to be here in New Jersey in your brand new Research and Innovation Center. So tell us what this center means for your business and for L'Oréal at large.
Well, you know, we are just inaugurating today, indeed, our brand new Research and Innovation Center here in Clark, New Jersey. And it is a very important day because, you know, our pledge is to invent the future of beauty, and therefore to do that you need the future of research centers, and that's exactly what's being built here. It's really state of the art. We can elaborate a little bit on it, and potentially the blueprint for our future R&D centers around the world. And it's going to serve the USA, our #1 market, but not only, because here will be invented new formulas that will serve consumers all around the world.
So it's the biggest investment in L'Oréal's history for an R&I center. So tell us why you decided to make this investment here in the US rather than somewhere else.
Well, you know, we had this R&D center in Clark since for over 50 years. So truth is it needed renovation, but as always, it's an opportunity to really take it to the next level. And in this center, which I visited this morning, for the first time, we have under the same roof in a very compact and fluid manner, everything from advanced research, which is one of the only companies that has advanced research, to formula development, to manufacturing beginnings, and to evaluation center. We're here in front of an evaluation center where consumers come and try our products. And so it's very compact, it's multi-category, it's totally interconnected, and it's a fantastic way, leveraging AI and, of course, our data on beauty we've accumulated over 115 years to really invent the future of beauty. And why here in the USA? Well, first of all, in New Jersey, a lot of engineers and a lot of people that can, you know, work for us here. The US is a very diverse, it's the most diverse country in the world. And it's also a fantastic challenge for researchers to address all the skin tones, all the hair types, and create products that are going to travel the world. I think the US is a fantastic starting point.
I caught up with Janet Wangari Olivero, the AVP of Advanced Research here at L'Oréal, to show me around.
We have what we call the Flex Lab, and it's the largest Flex Lab in the cosmetic industry, and it's about the size of 6 football fields. This facility allows us to integrate all our innovation from upstream to downstream, covering biology, chemistry, formulation, and formulation development. And we're able to work on 18 different categories, ranging from skincare, makeup, foundation, hair color, and photo protection within the same space. And this allows 200 chemists working together on different functions. It's a modular lab, so it can be interchanged, and everybody's able to share the space and create the innovations for L'Oréal.
To adapt to consumers' changing demands, L'Oréal had to adapt its offering, developing formulas that match a wider range of skin tones.
One of the key things that we've heard when it comes to foundations, women of color, they have difficulties finding shades that are pleasing to their skin tones. Sometimes they are ashy, they don't always match, and it's important to make sure that as we innovate, we are creating shades for everybody. Traditionally in the makeup industry, you use a range of pigments, and traditionally they've used white, yellow, red, and black. However, we find that those don't always match the skin tones of our consumers globally. And so what we've done here at L'Oréal is identify shades that allows us to make shades that truly match the deepest shades as well as olive undertones. And some of our hero products are ultramarine blue, which we've
don't
used.
expect that.
Correct. And blue, we have found, is actually able to allow us to get deeper shades and expand the range of portfolio that we have. For example, if you look, these are some of our newer shades using some of the ultramarine blue. And we also have green pigments, such as this, called chromium oxide green. And we have found that for lighter skin tones, especially for those with olive complexions, they also have issues finding makeup that matches. And we have found that the addition of chromium oxide green is able to provide color that is much more pleasing to the skin. And so what I will show you today is how we've been able to create some of our deeper skin shades for L'Oreal True Match. And it's a mix of the same quantities. And eventually, if you add all the syringes, this is what it would look like. And then if you mix, this is exactly how we make the deepest skin tone. After we mix all the pigments, this is exactly what our foundation looks like. And previously, before we started using ultramarine blue, this is the deepest shade that we were able to get. But with the addition of the ultramarine blue, we are now able to get a much richer color, very deep, and it does not leave an ashy texture on the skin of our consumers. And also, as I mentioned, we found that the addition of the chromium oxide green is able to provide us colors that are much more vivid for olive skin tones. And so this is an example of our foundation without the chromium oxide green. And you can see that it's a little bit on the pale side, but with the addition of the chromium oxide green, you're able to get a much more richer and also like deeper shade of the lighter foundations.
Once the formulas have been created, they must be tested and refined to ensure product quality, efficiency, and scalability.
So this right here is one of the greatest assets in our innovation, from upstream to downstream. This is our mini pilot plant in-house. This allows us to scale up when we're developing formulas from what you saw in the lab, being able to go from 1 kilo to even 300 kilos.
L'Oreal operates several pilot plants worldwide, helping them bring new products to market faster. Once the formulations have been scaled up, the company follows strict safety and efficacy testing protocols to ensure that products meet regulatory standards and consumer expectations.
We are now in our salon testing center. This is part of our consumer evaluation center, where we can welcome up to 400 consumers every day. This allows us to test our products to make sure that we interact with the consumers. We have experts who allow us to understand the needs, the desires, the aspirations of our consumers. And as we work on our innovations, we're able to really understand whether we're meeting those goals. And this is where we do the work in the salon with our consumers, co-creating, co-designing, and ensuring that we have the appropriate feedback to ensure that we can continue that co-creation and innovation process.
Still to come.
I'm often asked whether China is the next China. I think that China will be a land of growth.
This is CNBC on assignment at L'Oreal's US Research and Innovation Center. 2024 marked L'Oreal's 115th anniversary. With an annual R&D spend above 1.3 billion euros, continuous improvement of the offering across the cosmetics industry is key to L'Oreal's success. Prada's paradox to YSL Libre, one of the fastest growing categories in L'Oreal's portfolio, is fragrances, now representing almost half of L'Oreal's Luxe division.
Fragrance has been the fastest growing category over the last years, and we are the world leaders in fragrance. The market is growing double digits, and here it's a mixture of science and art, and that's why probably we are the best at it, because it is this blend of actual science, but there's also the flair, the quality of the brand, the dream you provide to consumers, and that's an area where I think we've been innovating quite a lot.
What is behind that boom of fragrances? What do you bring it down to?
Well, it's very simple. There are three drivers in the boom of fragrance. One is you have more people using fragrance. In Asia, fragrance was not by far the smallest category, if existing at all. In Japan, for example, there was very little fragrance usage. And today, the Chinese consumers are discovering a love for fragrance. I was in Tokyo recently. There were queues outside fragrance stores. So more people using, and it's very true of the young generations in the USA. Gen Zs and millennials, but Gen Zs love fragrance. Again, Latino population wear more fragrance than others. Then the second driver is the fact that people use more than one fragrance. I remember my mother used the same fragrance forever. I brought her all the L'Oreal fragrances that I could find. Oh, thank you, son, it's great. And it ended up in her cupboard, and she was using a fragrance from another company today when I look at my sons, their girlfriends, they have 3, 4, 5, 6 fragrances which they change. And the third driver is premiumization. The more people love fragrance, the more they want to be connoisseurs, and they buy into the collection niche fragrances, which are much more expensive. So 3 drivers, big growth.
One such market was the medical aesthetic space. From chemical peels to laser treatments and fillers, the market is projected to grow to an estimated value of around $330 billion by 2030. L'Oréal has recently invested in clinics across China and North America and acquired a minority stake in dermatology firm Galderma.
In your research for innovation, you said recently that you acquired stakes in clinics in China and North America to observe and understand the medical aesthetic market and the opportunities in that area. Of course, that comes after you bought a stake in Galderma. So can I just ask you more about this, about your thinking behind this, how much of a growth opportunity can it be for L'Oréal?
Well, you know, L'Oréal has been dedicated to beauty, only beauty, for 115 years, but we also say we are doing all of beauty. And clearly, in this time when longevity has become the preoccupation of everybody. Everybody knows we're going to be living over 100 years, 120 years sometimes. And so people, consumers, men, women, are investing in what is their envelope, which is their skin. Some start very early, but we know that during all your life, you're going to be having to take care of your appearance and of what I call your human envelope, which is your skin, but also hair. So consumers are, of course, using what I would call traditional beauty products, but they're also looking into other options, which are complementary, not substitutable. And there you see beauty supplements. Some people use LED masks to improve their skin. And of course, a large number of people and a growing number of people go to have non-invasive procedures in derm clinics. Clearly, it's something as the leader in beauty that we have to understand and work around, which we already do to some extent. We have 2 brands, SkinCeuticals and Skin Better Science, that are brands that are developed for dermatologists and developed around procedures to be complementary, synergistic. If I take the latest launch from SkinCeuticals called PTOX, it's been really developed to work with Botox injections. So we already work a lot with the derms, but then this I would say, new way to look better and stay younger, which is based on science, which is what L'Oréal has always been, and which is delivering results, is something that we need to understand.
While the beauty market and demand have been growing in the recent years, it has not been completely immune to the macroeconomic challenges, particularly the slowdown in the all-important Chinese market. Despite this, the CEO remains optimistic about the future.
The good thing about China is that we continue to see that consumers love beauty, they talk about beauty online, and they are really interested in innovations and new products. And by the way, last year, even though the year was not great in terms of growth because the market was negative, when we came to the market with innovative products like on Saint Laurent, Prada, or CeraVe, or La Roche-Posay, we had great growth. So it's a more demanding market. Right now, there's a lack of consumer confidence. So I would say Chinese consumers are holding onto their savings. So we need I don't know if it's the local government or the global economy to foster more trust, more jobs, and therefore more consumptions. But I still do believe that, I'm often asked whether China is the next China. I think that China will be a land of growth. There are more people entering the middle classes. The generation that's growing older now is the generation that was born and grown with the appetite for beauty products. And the boomers all over the world are a fantastic source of growth for L'Oréal. They are spending more. So all in all, I think we are in a cyclical downturn in China, and it's a good moment for us to, again, increase our innovation, make sure that we really come with products that tempt consumers. And therefore, I'm confident. I don't see, this year being a big change versus last year, but I think we'll see good news from China in the months and years to come.
Nicolas Hieronimus, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
That's all the time we have for this episode. For more CNBC on assignment, head to our website. I'm Charlotte Reed. Thank you for watching.